What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Kalu, and today we're back for another video. Today we are gonna talk about Dragon Ball Fusions. It's another tier list video. I figured I had a lot of fun making the last tier list video with the Saiyan transformations and whatnot, so I figured a fusion tier list video would be pretty fun. So the way this is gonna work is I am going to be ranking kind of like each era of the fusions, really, and not really like, okay, so like for example, right, these two Gogetas, right, they're both from different continuities, they're both Gogeta, but in a way they're kind of like not the same character, right? So I am gonna like rank these two characters like differently, you know what I mean? So these two are they're both Gogeta, and this guy as well. Like these three Gogetas are all gonna be ranked like individually, right? Another thing is I'm gonna be using like, I'm not gonna put everything up here on the tier list. I'm gonna be using like each like form to represent like the fusion. So like instead of putting this guy and this guy both up here, I'm only gonna put this guy up because they're both the same. They're literally the same form, same guy, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna choose this guy to represent Gogeta from Dragon Ball Super Broly. I'm gonna choose this guy to represent Super like Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, and so on and so on. All right. So hope that makes sense. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm not sure if there's too much I need to explain. So I'm only gonna put like the main series kind of fusions up here. So I'm gonna exclude like, you know, Gotenks from Dragon Ball Heroes and like Tiancha and Weirus. Like I'm not really gonna count those guys. So I'll just count the fusions from the main series. So who should I start with? I'm gonna pick an easy guy right here. I'll start off with Kibito Kai. Kibito Kai, the fusion of Supreme Kai Shin and Kibito. I mean, no hate against the guy. Like, his design is like fine, you know. But like, you know, he doesn't really do too much in the series, so it's hard for me to really like judge him since he pretty much does nothing. So I'm just gonna leave him there. I don't know if I really need to spend too much time talking about him, but he'll be there for now. Next, since we're on Buu Saga, let's start with Gotenks. I'm gonna put Gotenks, I'll start Gotenks in the C tier for now. Maybe I'll move him up later, but we'll see how things go. Gotenks, the fusion of Goten and Trunks, of course. Never been like a super big Gotenks guy. Like I was always more of a Gogeta and Vegito guy, as I'm sure most people are. But Gotenks is cool too. Very cool moveset, like the Galactic Donut and the Super Boo Boo Volleyball attack, the Super Ghost Kamikaze attack. Like, you know, very cool and diverse moveset. And yeah, I haven't watched like the Buu Saga in a long time, but you know, Gotenks was kind of putting in work. You know, he did his best. So Gotenks is cool. Like, I don't hate any of these guys. So like, if you see me put a guy in like C or D tier, it's not because I dislike them really. So I'll put him there for now. Might come back to him later. Kefla. I'm gonna start Kefla in the C tier for now. Kefla, I think I low-key like Kefla more than Gotenks, but I don't know. I think I'd actually give the slight edge to Gotenks over Kefla, to be honest. I like Kefla. I feel like Kefla is actually a little bit of a polarizing character. Like, bro, I remember the hate and the arguments on Twitter that came about when the Universe 6 Saiyans made the scene. Caulifla, Kale, and Kaba. Like, people really had beef with like Caulifla and Kale reaching Super Saiyan really fast, and like Kaba's design. And then there's the whole Kaba versus Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta meme. Like, don't even get me started there. But Kefla, I do like Kefla, and I do like the Universe 6 Saiyans, even though this isn't really about them. But Kefla is fine. I think she has cool fights with Goku. And I like her personality. I think she's got a great design. And, you know, Kefla Loki is popular. She Loki has her fan base. People seem to be excited when she makes the scene onto the games. So, yeah, I like Kefla, to be honest. I really don't have too much of a problem with her. She's cool. She's cool. So we'll leave Kefla there. What do I do next? I'll do Zamasu, since we're on Dragon Ball Super. Zamasu, I'll put Zamasu in the C tier. Zamasu is pretty cool. Fusion Zamasu. Great design. Definitely one of the better villains in Dragon Ball Super for sure. You might say that that's not really saying too much, but you know, I enjoyed Zamasu for sure. Zamasu and Goku Black, definitely a dangerous duo. And I feel like Goku Black, the Future Trunks arc, is really what started to put, you know, Dragon Ball Super on the map and really put, you know, butts in seats for Dragon Ball Super. Zamasu, definitely a popular character, somewhat of a popular character for sure. I know people have like an issue with him being such a talkative god guy, but like, you know, I always kind of like that about him. Like, you know, he's a god, he's feeling himself, he's self-absorbed. So yeah, Zamasu, he's cool. Yeah, not too much to say about him. I mean, his fight was with Vegito Blue was cool as well. We'll get to Vegito Blue in a little bit. He might even be the next guy. But yeah, not too much to say about Zamasu. Next, we might as well go on to Vegito Blue, since we're talking Future Trunks art. I'll put Vegito Blue in the B tier. Now, again, I'm choosing to rank Vegito Blue and Super Vegito separately. Even though they're pretty much the same guy, Vegito Blue is this guy, but like in the future, literally. Like, he's in the future timeline, but he's also literally Vegito again in the future. But, I'm counting it as like a different era in a way. Different era, kind of, but not continuity. Like, this guy and this guy are different continuities. This guy and this guy I'm counting as a different era, and I'm ranking the fusions separately on kind of like how they did in each era. So Vegito Blue and Super Vegito might not get the same ranking. So back to Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue, from what I've seen, definitely gets a little bit of hate on the internet. It's in a way you could say that he got nerfed for sure. Like, the Potara retcon thing kind of nerfed him, but hot take, I actually don't really mind the whole Potara retcon thing. The whole rule where fusion with a fusion only lasts an hour if a Supreme Kai isn't involved. I never really had too much of an issue with that rule. But I know some people have, and that's fair. But for me, it never really bothered me too much. I think it's better than the whole Boo's bad air or whatever. But that's just me. So Vegito Blue, I think he just looks cool. The blue looks cool on Vegito. He had a cool fight with Zamasu as well, although it was short and sweet fight. But he didn't really give that OG like Super Vegito vibe. Like, you know, in the anime in Dragon Ball Z, Vegito was flexing and dominating on like Majin Buu, but in Dragon Ball Super it was a little bit more even, which is fine. I mean, Zamasu was a serious threat, but we didn't really get that super like imposing like Vegito that we knew from the original series, in the anime at least. I think the manga did a better job showcasing how awesome Vegito is, really, but I haven't read the manga in a little bit, so I have to freshen up on that to see if that holds true. But Vegito Blue, I mean, he's cool. I like him, probably like him a little bit more than a lot of people, but you know, he's Vegito at the end of the day, so people are gonna like him regardless of what he did in the series. So yeah, I'll put him there for now. Next, let's talk about we might as well talk about you. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I'm gonna put Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in the B tier along with Vegito Blue. And now, what's funny with Vegito Blue and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta being next to each other here is that, bro, these two are literally two sides of the same coin. But this guy gets way more hate than this guy, right? Both of them kind of do get their hate, to be honest. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, there's the whole meme where he's carried by games, and honestly, that's not a take I disagree with for sure. Because in the anime, you know, he looks very cool. I think the scene where he first showed up and he was hitting Omega so fast, you couldn't even see it. And then he had to slow it down so that Omega could count the hits. Like, I think they did a pretty good job there showcasing like the difference in like power and like speed between Gogeta and Omega. But other than that, pretty lackluster looking fight in my opinion. It didn't really give like final battle like climax vibes. At least with Vegito Blue's fight, like, you know, it had good animation. Felt a little bit more intense, more fast paced. You could feel like the impact of the fight a little bit more. This guy though, couldn't really do it. To be honest. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is very popular. He's Gogeta and he's a Super Saiyan 4, so like of course he just might be the most popular or second most popular Dragon Ball fusion. And you know, I definitely don't blame people for being just like so enamored by this guy. He's very cool design, but honestly, like, I feel like he definitely is a bit carried by the games, and the anime just didn't really do him justice, in my opinion. I don't know. His fight just isn't that great, and his Kamehamehas, his attacks, they just weren't doing it. Like, I'm sorry to say, but hot take, this guy is a bit overrated. I'm gonna say, I think he is. But I don't hate him, for sure. He's cool. He always looks cool when he shows up in the games, but I'm not really ranking this tier list based on how cool the characters are in the games, you know? So, unfortunately, for me, in my opinion, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is gonna be in the B tier. I low-key even considered him for C tier, to be honest. But I definitely can't see him moving any higher than B tier. So, I'm just gonna keep him there. Next, I mean, we low-key only have two more fusions to talk about, because I'm not gonna count Goku, and I'm not gonna count Tianxia. I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna leave him there. I'm not gonna count this guy. I don't really see a need to put him up there, or this guy. So, yeah. Next, actually, let's talk about you. Super Gogeta from Fusion Reborn. This guy is the OG fusion of Goku and Vegeta in a way. Little fun fact, little like history lesson. But in the Buu Saga, Toriyama was originally gonna do Gogeta in the Buu Saga, and I thought, like, you know, going through the Buu Saga, like, I felt like it was pretty obvious that it was being set up to where Goku and Vegeta were gonna have to do the fusion dance to fight Majin Buu. Like, I think Gotenks was the foreshadowing of Goku and Vegeta eventually doing the fusion dance to become Gogeta as well. But Toriyama didn't do it because Toei Animation already had their plans to use Gogeta in the Fusion Reborn movie. So Toriyama was like, I gotta think of something else. You know, he didn't want to step on their toes. So he ended up giving us Vegito. In fact, like, yeah, I mean, Vegito was originally supposed to be Gogeta. So it's funny how that worked out. But anyway, Super Gogeta from Fusion Reborn. Very cool character, cool design. It was pretty cool seeing him style on Janemba the way he did. Only thing is that I wish we could have got to see him do a little bit more. That would have been really nice, but unfortunately we didn't get that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I think he's good to be an A. He's not like my favorite for sure, but I think I like him a little bit more than these guys. Part of me wants to put Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in A, but I feel like the design and like thinking of the games is like carrying that, and it's like I'm not trying to base it off the games, but if you want to base how much you like a fusion based off the games, that's definitely fair, for sure. So, nah, I'm gonna leave him in B tier. So Super Gogeta, I'll put you in A. Maybe I can make a case for him being in B as well. But I think A is good enough for him. Now I'm really thinking, like, do I want to put you in A tier? What does that look like? Yeah, you're like A B tier, to be honest. Like, I know like your fight wasn't that great, but like you do look very cool design. You're sick. I'll admit it, you're sick. So maybe I'll leave you in A. But then I'm looking like, I don't know. I'll just leave you here for now. We'll come back to you. Next, speaking of the devil, we'll put Super Vegito in the S tier. Super Vegito is the first S tier character. This guy is literally like a flawless fusion. Like, the OG fusion of Goku and Vegeta in the original manga. This guy, the way he was flexing on Majin Buu, turning up on him was unrivaled. Like, people like to say that Vegito has like no wins or whatever, but like, dude, if you were paying attention, you'd understand that Vegito's plan was to get absorbed by Buu so that he could free his friends, you know? So I don't really count that as a loss. The fight against Zamasu maybe, but I don't know. One thing I do know for sure is that I really want to see Vegito in a Dragon Ball movie, because I think a Dragon Ball movie would be a great opportunity for Vegito to redeem himself after what happened in the Future Trunks arc, you know? His short, like, timeout defusion in the Future Trunks arc. If that were to happen, they might have to find a way to strengthen the Potara. Either that, or they're just gonna be like, I don't care, like, you know, he defused early in the Future Trunks arc, who cares? We're gonna have him last a whole hour in the movie. Like, they really could do that if they wanted to. And there's nothing we could do about it. And you know what? If they did that, I wouldn't be mad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it wouldn't make that much sense, but I wouldn't be mad, you know? But yeah, Vegito, I think we need him in a Dragon Ball movie. Like, I think he deserves a chance to spread his wings the way Gogeta did in Dragon Ball Super Broly. And speaking of Gogeta from Dragon Ball Super Broly, let's bring him up. Let's get him up here. Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Gogeta from Dragon Ball Super Broly is just peak. This guy right here, this guy to me is what Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is to everybody else. Like, this is my Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Like, bro, I remember back in 2018, people were theorizing that Gogeta was going to make an appearance in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. And there were signs for sure. They were replaying some of the old specials / movies in theaters, such as the first Bardock special, right? Which led people to wonder if Bardock was going to show up on the movie as well. The first Broly movie, the first Z Broly movie was playing in theaters, and then Fusion Reborn was playing in theaters as well. And like, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And it actually ended up being a thing where both Bardock and Gogeta ended up being in the movie alongside Broly. And I remember going to see this movie back in like 2019, because it came out in December 2018 in Japan, and then January 2019 in the States. That's another topic. Like, whenever we get another Dragon Ball movie, We definitely need that to be in theaters at the same time, like both dubbed and subbed, because it's 2026 and there's no reason for Dragon Ball to get a movie dubbed in English and have it come out months later. Whereas, like, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, they're all getting their movies like dubbed and subbed in theaters at the same time. Like, there's no excuse as to why Dragon Ball can't get that same treatment too. Like, we need that. All right. So, dude, Dragon Ball Super Broly, my favorite Dragon Ball movie by far, and I feel like my GOAT, Gogeta Blue, was just he was the pinnacle in that movie. Like, the blue hair looked amazing. The design overall looked cool. The Shintani designs really just added on to why the movie was so good and why this guy was so awesome. And I was just really excited to see Gogeta in theaters. Like, I think I was low-key more of a Vegito guy before this movie, but this movie really sold me on Gogeta. I just absolutely loved the movie, and I absolutely loved seeing Gogeta in the movie as well. I remember being super excited for it. I was saying this guy was a flawless fusion. This guy is also a flawless fusion, except there's one thing that you can criticize my GOAT for, and that he did not kill Frieza. At the end of Dragon Ball Super Broly, he let Frieza get away. And there's literally no reason as to why he let Frieza get away. Like, Frieza was causing trouble and Gogeta had the opportunity to kill him right then and there, and he didn't. Why? I don't know. There was no reason for him not to do that. But, hot take, but I'm kind of glad that Frieza got away, because I would have felt like him getting killed by Gogeta there would have been a little bit anticlimactic. Would it have made sense for Gogeta to kill him there? Absolutely, for sure. And I'm sure Goku and Vegeta are regretting not killing him then, because, Frieza's back and he's stronger than ever. So that's the only area where we could really criticize that GOAT, in my opinion. But yeah, this guy's definitely my favorite iteration of Gogeta. He's definitely my favorite fusion overall. And Super Vegeto's like right there beside him. But overall, I think the list looks good. You could be really either A or B tier. I think I'm being a little generous by putting you in A, but honestly, I've kind of been giving him some flack in this video, but Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, he's definitely even though he is carried by games a bit, he is that guy too. Like, at one point, he was the strongest Dragon Ball character ever. So I gotta give him, some respect for that, right? So other than that, I think the list looks fine. Yeah, I like it. So you guys let me know what you think of my tier list in the comments below. Am I bugging with any of these placements? Do you agree or disagree with me? Please let me know. I'd love to hear what you think. But yeah, that is pretty much it for now. That's my fusion tier list. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kalu Solos Dragon Ball Fusions Forever.